It's the ultimate travel guide from the people who know it best. Weekends with Yankee. Now we head south to Massachusetts. We're just outside of Boston. We find Coolidge Corner, a small village in Brookline. An anchor of the neighborhood is the Brookline Booksmith, an independent bookstore which, for over half a century, has served the community with its wide selection of titles, dedicated staff, and calendar of literary events. Amy is at the Booksmith to catch up with author, actor, and comedian John Hodgman, who spent his childhood wandering through these shelves.
I think the original motto of Booksmith was dedicated to the fine art of browsing, and I took it very seriously.
Yeah.
And just kind of go through and, you know, obviously it's not a library, it's a place of commerce,
Right.
but they wouldn't yell at you if you just sat around on the floor and read. And
Right.
as well, you know, unlike a library, the booksellers themselves are displaying their taste throughout. You see all of the recommendations and the decisions they make to highlight stuff. And you just sort of find things that feel good to you, and you'll read a couple of pages.
For John, the Booksmith certainly holds a special place in his heart.
So where would you spend most of your time in a bookstore like this?
Hang on, listen. You hear the floor creaking?
Yeah.
That's the best part. Before there were graphic novels, it was just Bloom Counties and Garfields.
Yes.
And I would sit there when I was, you know, maybe 12, 11, 10, that's where I would go.
Right.
And then when I became more pretentious, I'd start wandering around here in the fiction section, and I would just look for, at the time it was vintage contemporaries, had that very distinctive design.
Right.
Oh, look, there's Tom Perrotta.
Oh, yeah. He's a Boston guy.
He's a friend of mine. I studied writing with him one summer in Yale. That was always very exciting.
Author of many books, and The Leftovers, which
author of many books, and
Yep.
books that have been made into TV shows. None of mine ever have.
The Booksmith prides itself on packing its shelves with an eclectic mix of titles.
The super duper pleasure is trying to find my own book here, and it doesn't look like they have it.
I don't think they are carrying it, actually. It's not really a...
Yeah. Oh no, there it is. Hang on. Oh, thank God, I still exist. Oh.
Do you get that thrill still when you see your book? Yeah.
It's an incredible feeling, especially if you grow up with books. to
Yeah.
See yourself in print, and you know, I go from job to job, and I just keep running, because that's how I like to live.
Right. Yeah.
But from time to time, someone will post a picture of all the books that I've written, and this is the 5th one. I'm like, oh boy, I've really burdened the world with a lot of pages. We're meeting here in Brookline, Massachusetts, which is my hometown, and I love it very much. I thought for many years that I would come and live here for the rest of my life. But then my then girlfriend, now wife, instructed me that that would not be the case, that I would join her in New York City. New York City, a place I was bred to hate because I thought of Boston as the big rival to New York City. Now I realize, not really a rivalry. Boston was always like, we're a big city, and New York was like, I thought I heard a provincial town talking.
You've kind of known a lot of different brands of fame, and you write about that in the book.
I'm not sure they saw it. Medallion status. True stories from secret rooms by me, John Hodgman. Just, you know, always be plugging.
I'm gonna just do that. Your career has been unexpected.
Implausible.
And maybe you could take us through the course of jobs that you've had.
Well, my thought had always been that I would like to write a book. I would like to do it without actually sitting down and writing a book. I always wanted to just have written a book.
Have written, yeah.
But I realized that that was a goal, so I ended up learning how to write. Sat down and started writing for magazines and comedy for the internet, and then ended up writing a book called The Areas of My Expertise, which was a humor book that put me on The Daily Show as a guest.
John Hodgman, everybody. Nice to see you, John. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by and joining us.
And now is the camera on me? Good.
Yes.
Thank you, John. The reason I called you here today.
Well, I'm here every day. It's my show, so I'm here. It's not like you.
Please, John. This is hard enough without your blubbering.
And that was, for me, I thought the apex of my creative life, to be on this show that I loved and to get Jon Stewart's endorsement for this very strange book of fake trivia and fake facts.
Anyway, goodbye. Oh, and that whole thing about billionaires being essential job creators, we made that up.
So I was an on-camera contributor on The Daily Show starting in January of '06, and by April of '06, I had auditioned for and gotten this completely unexpected job in the Apple Computer Get a Mac campaign.
Gesundheit, you okay?
No, I'm not okay. I have that virus that's going around.
I played the PC. And so suddenly I had this profoundly...
Just hearing those words come out of your mouth is actually...
I'm a PC.
It was very exciting for me just now.
Look, I never wanted to stop saying it. I'm speaking to Tim Cook right now. I never wanted to stop. I'm ready to go.
So, you just cried this one.
I think I got to crash.
Hey, if you feel like...
I've done the math, and taking into account Jenna's salary and earning potential, I've calculated that she's worth $800,000.
You do seem to bring, even the personas or the characters that you've played, they feel very New England-y to me.
And I'm August Clementine, and I talked last. Good day.
The tweedy professor, even the eccentric millionaire. I think we have, lots of places have them, but we have them here.
Well, I just don't like your uterus. Don't get me wrong, your eggs are in great shape, but you have a T-shaped uterus.
For as house proud as I was of Brookline, I never thought of I thought of myself as a citizen of a bookstore, a citizen of the world, you know. But you're shaped by where you grow up, and you don't know until you go someplace else.
Right.
And you know, it was my terror for a long time when, you know, because I'd been going up to Maine for years with my then girlfriend and now wife to visit her dad and her uncles up there, and we would always stop at this old school roadside candy and fudge and nut shop called Perry's Nut House in Belfast, Maine. And they had a bookstore there too of Maine interests, including a section always dedicated to Maine humor. And if you don't know, Maine regional humor is basically jokes without punchlines. And I would say to comfort myself wherever I was in my career, at least I'm not that, you know, until I was, you know. And it wasn't until I was telling the stories on stage that became the book Vacation Land that I realized I was exactly what I feared I would become. And now I enjoy it very much.
Boston produces an incredible number of, if you were thinking of the biggest names in comedy right now, you think of like Conan O'Brien, Amy Poehler, B.J. Novak,
Steve Carell. I do think that there is an underdogness to New England, and this constant desire to subvert the fanciness of the town and reassert its sort of more working class roots and take each other down and give each other a hard time. That I think, you know, is a friction that produces comedy.
So you write about having had a lot of jobs growing up. You were a ditch digger, you worked at the Coolidge across the street, you worked in restaurants. How did those shape how you write and your sort of comedic sensibility now?
Among my many jobs, maybe my fondest was working at the Coolidge. A, because I loved movies, and I loved the movies that we showed over there. And B, I loved not working hard. You know, when you work in a movie theater, you have periods of busyness, you rip the tickets, you sell the popcorn, and then you just wait till the movie is over. The other great thing about the Coolidge being at sort of an art movie house was that it attracted artsy weirdos to work there. They had incredibly sly senses of humor. And my job, as I heard their jokes and heard their patter, and I can't even speak to jokes that were said. It was just a way of engaging in the world. We had a maxim there, which was the customer is always wrong. That was one of the reasons why the job felt like like a family. Because it was always like, you know, we wouldn't be mean to customers, but we would not brook meanness from customers. I love the Booksmith. This is as important a part of my formation as there is. This is where I learned to be human. This was my library. This is where I stole a lot of time and I didn't steal books, but a lot of time reading books that I didn't pay for. But the Coolidge was equally a foundational part, and I hoped that we could go over and film in the Coolidge. And of course, the Coolidge said no. So let's go over there and see if we can sneak in.
Oh, okay. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Hi. My name's John. I used to work here a long time ago. Can I come in?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, thanks. Oh, right there.
You should remember.
I don't, well, all right. Hey, how are you?
How are you?
So I just wanted to come by and show the Weekends with Yankee viewer about where I grew up, which is basically in this lobby. And the projectionist created that neon sculpture
That's beautiful.
when I worked here, and that's been going strong since
Wow.
1990 or so. So when I was here, these stairs is where we would sit during the show and make jokes with each other. I grew up coming to see movies here when I was a little kid,
Yeah.
and then to work here. I guess the truth is that mostly I find the things that I love, and then I scam my way into a job there.
Yeah.
So whether it's the Coolidge or the Daily Show or almost any of the Brookline Booksmith, you know, as an author, I'm a very adept at sneaking into places. All right, Amy, let's see if I still got this. I think this is a new machine, so forgive me if I'm not as familiar. So I always do about halfway, a little bit of butter.
Nice. Wow.
Sorry, I'll clean it up. And then top it off. I think it's gonna be good. Hey, thanks for coming to my house.
Thanks
making
for
it easy
inviting
for
me
me.
to your house and
Yeah.
feeding me.
Yeah. Medallion status out now. Hashtag medallion status. Hashtag always be plugging.